You were told to be agreeable, polite, easygoing. That keeping the peace earns loyalty. That kindness guarantees respect. But it doesn't. Being liked and being respected are not the same. And being feared, when earned the right way, sets a tone that silence and smiles never will. Here's the truth. The man who tries to please everyone is never taken seriously. He's dependable, but forgettable. Present, but never in charge. He fades into the background, while others, less qualified but more grounded, command the room. This video isn't about becoming a bully. It's about learning what makes certain men impossible to ignore. The ones who don't just walk in, they shift the energy when they do. The men who don't raise their voice, yet never have to repeat themselves. You don't need to change your nature, but you do need to stop playing small. It's time to develop presence, sharpen your edge, and carry yourself in a way that turns heads without saying a word. Respect starts from within. Fear, when grounded in strength and consistency, keeps weak behavior at bay. Let's get into the mindset and habits that make men unforgettable. Respect isn't given freely. It's earned through consistency, conviction, and clarity. Most men misunderstand this. They assume that being liked means they're respected, but those are two different currencies, and one is far more valuable. Respect is built when people see you operate with principle. It shows up when your behavior aligns with your words, especially under pressure. Fear, when it's rooted in discipline rather than threat, adds a layer of seriousness to your presence. It means others think twice before crossing your boundaries, not because you're dangerous, but because you're immovable. Real fear doesn't come from loudness. It comes from a presence that signals control. A man who speaks deliberately, moves with intention, and holds the line without flinching becomes someone others instinctively monitor. Not because he intimidates, but because he doesn't bend. People don't follow unpredictability, they follow steadiness. And they don't respect appeasement. They respect decisions that aren't compromised to avoid discomfort. You command attention by being centered. Your tone matters. Your timing matters. Even your silence speaks volumes. What many miss is that fear, when healthy, isn't cruelty. It's clarity. It's the recognition that you operate by standards that won't shift just to be accepted. That makes you rare, and rarity commands weight in any room. People are drawn to those who hold structure in a world full of chaos. When others feel safe in your clarity and cautious around your discipline, you've earned both respect and restrained fear, the kind that builds loyalty, not distance. You don't need to posture, you don't need theatrics. Just show up aligned with purpose, and people will take notice before you speak. And here's the shift. Stop chasing approval. Start building consistency. Respect will follow, and with it, a presence others naturally adjust to. Before we go further into building unshakable confidence, I have a quick ask. I'm working toward 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps amplify this message. If this resonates, hit that subscribe button. Let's raise the standard together. Confidence isn't about walking into a room and believing you're better than everyone. It's about knowing you don't need to compare at all. Real confidence is quiet. It's not born from praise or recognition. It's built through repetition and self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce the belief that your word means something. That's where inner stability grows. You don't become unshakable by avoiding failure. You become that way by facing it, learning, and continuing forward without losing your footing. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence, and that evidence silences doubt. Most men think confidence comes from visible wins, but true strength comes from what others don't see. Early mornings, small decisions, uncomfortable conversations. That's the foundation. That's where resilience is shaped. When you stop outsourcing your self-worth, whether through validation, titles, or approval, you start to build something permanent. You no longer fear rejection, because you know rejection doesn't change your value. You no longer freeze in uncertainty, because you trust your ability to adapt. This confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't need constant reassurance. It shows up consistently, in how you stand, in how you speak, in how you hold your frame when others waver. The man who leads with certainty doesn't need to dominate. His composure does the work for him. If you want to become unshakable, stop chasing big moments. Focus on keeping the small promises you make to yourself, daily. That's how self-respect is formed. That's how confidence sticks, even when everything else shifts. When a man speaks with conviction, people stop guessing. Assertive communication eliminates confusion. It's the skill that separates those who are heard from those who are ignored. Assertiveness is not volume. It's not force. It's the ability to say exactly what you mean, without apology, without aggression. It's clarity wrapped in calm. Most people stumble in communication because they either soften their message to avoid discomfort or escalate it out of frustration. Assertiveness lives in the middle. It delivers truth with balance. It begins with knowing your intention. Before you speak, ask, what's the outcome I want from this exchange? Then speak directly to that, nothing more, nothing less. Keep your tone neutral, but firm. Use words that anchor your stance. This isn't acceptable. I need this done by tomorrow. That's not something I'm available for. These are clear. They don't invite debate. They set the tone. Avoid explaining your boundaries like you owe justification. Over-explaining weakens your message. You're not seeking permission, you're stating position. Nonverbal cues matter. Eye contact, steady pacing, relaxed shoulders. They all communicate self-assurance before a single word leaves your mouth. Presence reinforces the weight of your words. Assertive men don't chase agreement. They're comfortable standing alone when necessary. They know that not everyone will like what they say, and that's fine, because truth has more value than comfort. In conversations that escalate, composure is your power. Never match someone's chaos. Keep your pace, keep your posture, hold the space. You'll be surprised how often people adjust when you refuse to react. Communication isn't about dominating, it's about being understood without distortion. Practice saying less, but saying it better. Precision earns attention. Stability earns trust. Strength isn't just what you carry, it's what you carry yourself through. The strongest men don't always look the part at first glance, but spend 5 minutes observing how they move, how they breathe, and how they react under stress, and you'll see it. Power lives in composure. Physical training isn't about chasing aesthetics, it's about learning discipline. The act of showing up, pushing past comfort, and finishing what you started reshapes not only your body, but your mindset. The man who lifts consistently builds grit that applies to every area of life. Physical strength teaches urgency, commitment, and pacing. It teaches you to measure effort, recognize limits, and break through them. When others get tired, you remain. That resilience echoes outside the gym. But don't forget the other half, mental strength. Mental toughness is forged through adversity. It doesn't happen when things go your way. It sharpens when plans fall apart and you adapt without losing direction. It grows when you stay steady in moments that test your patience, control, or resolve. Mental strength also means making hard decisions when they're needed, not when they're convenient. It's taking responsibility without excuses. It's staying calm when noise surrounds you, and it's walking forward when uncertainty lingers. The blend of both, physical edge and mental fortitude, creates presence that can't be ignored. People feel it before you speak. They recognize the balance between calm and capability. That balance creates impact. You don't develop this overnight. You earn it through consistent self-respect. Every time you resist shortcuts, every time you push through when it's inconvenient, you reinforce that you're dependable under pressure. Power isn't loud. Strength isn't flashy. Real authority is built when your habits reflect your standards without needing anyone to notice. If people don't know where your line is, they'll keep crossing it, not because they're malicious, but because you haven't made your line clear. Boundaries are decisions, not suggestions. They are how you show the world what you allow and what you protect. Without them, people treat your time, energy, and attention like they're endless resources, and that's on you, not them. The starting point is self-assessment. Identify what leaves you feeling drained. Where are you saying yes out of habit, guilt, or fear of reaction? Those moments are signals your line is being crossed. Once identified, draw that line clearly, silently, and consistently. You don't need to announce it, just act on it. If someone asks for more than you're willing to give, decline. If behavior crosses your comfort zone, address it calmly. That response sets precedent. Standards are different, but just as important. Where boundaries protect your energy, standards raise the quality of what you engage with. They're how you demand excellence from yourself first. The way you manage your routines, handle your responsibilities, and prepare for the day signals your expectations. The higher your standard, the sharper your focus. You stop chasing attention. You stop tolerating chaos. You start aligning only with what strengthens you. People notice that. They sense when you're no longer available for mediocrity, and they either rise to meet you or they fade away. This isn't harsh, it's clarity. You're not cutting people out. You're creating conditions for growth. You're choosing environments, conversations, and habits that reinforce your identity, not blur it. When others see that you live by non-negotiables, they take you seriously, not because you demand it, but because you show what matters through behavior. There's nothing passive about boundaries. And standards are never accidental. They are tools of leadership. When used together, they sharpen presence and attract alignment. Want to be taken seriously? Make your limits known and live by them. Leadership isn't about position, it's about demonstration. The men who influence most aren't the ones who speak the loudest. They're the ones who act consistently, even when no one's watching. You don't earn trust by demanding it. You earn it through reliability. When you commit to something and follow through, every time, you show others that your word means something. And in a world full of empty promises, that alone separates you. Integrity doesn't announce itself. It's visible in your small, repeated decisions. The way you handle setbacks, the tone you use under pressure, the care you show when you have nothing to gain. All of it speaks louder than declarations ever could. To lead effectively, you must master observation. Pay attention to what people need before they say it. Anticipate rather than react. Leadership through foresight shows depth. It reveals that you're not guessing your way through life, you're paying attention. Strong leaders make tough calls, not because they want to, but because they're necessary. They choose clarity over popularity, structure over chaos. They don't shift their standards to fit the room. They anchor the room with their presence. This kind of leadership isn't about charisma, it's about stability. When others panic, you remain composed. When uncertainty rises, you ground the moment. You become the person people naturally lean on, not out of dependence, but because your energy creates safety. Consistency makes you credible, but humility makes you human. Admit what you don't know, share what you've learned. Offer direction, but never from ego. The goal isn't to be followed blindly, it's to inspire others to lead themselves better. Leadership by example builds legacy, not through noise, but through character. Every interaction is a chance to affirm your values. Every setback is an opportunity to model resilience. And every choice, when made with intention, solidifies your influence. If you want to be remembered as someone worth following, stop performing, start embodying. You've made it to the end, and that alone says something. You're not just curious, you're committed. This journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about stripping away the behaviors, beliefs, and habits that kept you small. You're not adding noise, you're eliminating what dulls your impact. Respect doesn't come from appearances. It grows through consistency. People observe how you treat time, how you respond under pressure, and how you carry yourself when nothing's at stake. These quiet details shape the way you're remembered. And fear, the healthy kind, emerges when people sense you don't compromise. Not out of ego, but out of alignment. When others know you won't fold for approval, they don't just respect you. They tread carefully around what you've built. That tension isn't negative. It's power earned through presence. As you apply what you've learned, expect friction. When your standards rise, some people will pull back. Let them. That distance creates space for real alignment. Your voice matters. Your boundaries matter. And your ability to stay grounded in the face of pressure is what will set you apart, not just in appearance, but in outcome. Here's something to reflect on. What's one habit, belief, or pattern you're ready to eliminate now that you understand what real respect demands? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to see who's ready to move differently. If this video gave you a new way to think about presence, strength, and leadership, hit that like button. And if you're serious about building yourself from the inside out, not for validation, but for actual results, subscribe now. I'm working toward 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps bring this message to more men ready to rise. Thank you for being here. Your time means something, and I don't take it lightly. Keep building with purpose, moving with clarity, and showing up like the man you're becoming, not the one the world expects. Let's keep growing, together.